Oh, this is a crazy, crazy day.
Yeah, first of all, fuck you, because now Sasquatch or Dr. Squatch is on my phone everywhere.
It's not my fault.
I know. I looked it up because
I
of
was like,
you.
Facebook is always listening.
I don't use Facebook like that, though.
Google's always
It's
listening.
it's because I looked it up while, oh, let me look at the deal. Motherfucker, I hadn't had any of those ads in months.
The one that my wife has been wanting me to try is the Jurassic Park ones.
Hmm.
Because they started doing like licensing where it's like certain smells. So like I said, they had the Star Wars ones.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I want the Fuego.
they had the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
and they had like other seasonal ones. I got the cotton or the candy cane one.
Okay.
Snow grit. It smells super strong of peppermint.
Can you sharpen it to a shank?
Maybe.
Okay, as long as that is candy cane.
But then yeah, they were like, oh, we're coming out with the Jurassic Park one. I think it was like a raptor, a T Rex, and a Dilophosaurus.
That's you're moving the Old Spice territory.
Yeah, but it was like she was curious, I was curious. Eventually.
Fair enough.
Oh, and they also have a for Halloween. They used to have one that was just strictly like a zombie one. It was called Brick of the Dead.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then they came out this past Halloween with another scent that was werewolf themed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I should have been on that one.
Yes.
Looking at everybody who knew about that and didn't tell me. Fuck y'all.
I was like, I caught it like 2 weeks before Halloween, but I was like, it's not a scent I want.
That's fair. It probably doesn't smell good, but I would have at
It
least.
smelled okay, but it was one of those like, I know this is not my scent.
Fair.
This is not a scent that would wear well with me.
I want to make a pun with werewolf, but I'm not, my brain's not there at the moment.
Yeah. But back to topic, it's Rooster Teeth closing after 21 years.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
It's old enough to drink, and of course it gets put under.
Like they were at least what a little under a month away from hitting 22.
Jesus.
Because I think their anniversary was April 1st. Because they always made a joke that it was.
People wouldn't take it serious. I mean, you can't. If Warner Brothers had waited till the anniversary, like, hey, after 22 years of close, no one would take it seriously because it would be on April 1st.
Yeah. But it's just, I mean, it blindsided everybody from what I've been seeing.
Even people within the company.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, everyone knew there was like an all hands-on meeting. Everybody had to be a part of the meeting.
Yeah.
And then everyone's caught off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then no one knows in any certain terms what any of this means.
So I know that a few things are still up. Like, the Roost podcast system is still going to be a thing.
Yeah, they don't know for how long.
No, but there's enough big creators who use it that there's something connecting it. It'll be alive for a little bit longer than
they're going to finish out the season of Rick versus Blue, which is going to be the final season,
unless someone buys it.
Unless for now, like just
as is,
yeah,
with no Deus Ex Machina or Superman moment in the last moment of someone coming in and buying shit or paying for shit. Things are ending. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Ruby, I think was supposed to be I think saw somewhere where someone said that Ruby was still going to be made, but 10th season was going to be the final season, or this 10th volume was going to be the final season, tentative.
Good for them. I stopped caring after Monty.
The writing really wasn't there, but I still like the character progressions and how they've kind of certain things that they've done has actually been pretty intriguing to me.
Yeah. It's one of the shows where I will get highlights and then I'll go and find the bits I want to catch up on.
Yeah, there's some storylines I wish they didn't end right away, but I do like what is it? Signal,
Names.
The military town.
Got you. Yeah.
Having their own group of hunters that also have unique semblances and skills, and they actually got into a fight with Team Ruby. It was like that was actually really cool, but
it opened up the world considerably.
Yeah, it was done in a way that any of us probably were happy with, not necessarily, but
they were doing things.
they were still under that mantra of as long as someone's watching, keep making it.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people talk. Like we're gonna get into it because as soon as you sent me that, as soon as I got home, like literally last hour and a half, I've just been going through videos of other people's takes on this and stuff like that. So
Oh,
yeah,
I know. It's like my wife even asked me like, "Isn't this the company that you show me all the stupid videos from?"
it's
And
the
I was
company
like,
you applied to work at
a few times.
a few times. I threw my resume at it once for like something very stupid that I was not qualified for. I just wanted to fucking say I did. But yeah,
Yeah, I tried to do it for editor and then writer. Obviously, didn't get a response back,
yeah,
but also like I was recording earlier on my drive home. Uh, the main impact that I'm shocked about and most of all kind of sad about is it's one less production studio in the Austin area now.
goddamn, yeah, because it was a even in the industry, the fact that it was a company that at one time would legitimately went, YouTube is our competitor. And then, they evolved and grew and just went, it's a great platform, started using it as
It
well.
was a company that wasn't a big studio, but still everyone knew the name.
It was big enough to stand alone.
Everyone knew at least one show, which is mainly RVB, but
Yeah, because it predates YouTube.
yeah. And it's just, like I said, just the fact it wasn't
There's a handful of
the fact that other
people like that.
studios kind of took it seriously.
Yeah, because even if the content they made uh, might have been pointed towards, at some points, might have been pointed towards the lowest nomination, or at the time, people said, "Oh, this is just an easy way of making money." Let's plays and other things. Like, no, it's like it is still a powerhouse within its like world.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a figure that if like, oh, and here's this, and Rooster Teeth, people went, oh, okay. They were recognized, they were respected, and yeah,
Yeah, it was even like when we were living out in LA, still finding out a lot of people knew Rooster Teeth.
I
If not had, they might not have seen anything, but they at least heard the name.
Yeah, I was just talking to the Oracle earlier today about it. We're like, hey, I got to do this podcast. And she's like, yeah, my brother and his friend watched RVB since like day one. I have a friend whose older brother apparently had come down and actually worked for them for a bit. And it's like, yeah, bumfuck. Oh, can we curse?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even remember last time, to be honest. I was still getting over being sick. But yeah, bumfuck Ohioans are like,
my rules
Rooster Teeth.
for the podcast have always been the same as with the Austin guy. I just don't curse as much anymore unless it's like a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Just because I found out, like, or, you think back about like on our early days, and I'm like, I wanted to kind of be that personality where it's just like, this is my show. If I want to curse, I'm going to curse. I cursed a lot for almost no reason sometimes.
Just because I can.
Yeah, just because I can, and it's my show, and I want to encourage everyone to just kind of be free and open.
Mhm.
But now looking back on it, it's like,
well, I don't know.
I kind of went 11 in the wrong direction.
It's one of those things where, depending on the content I want to make, there are definitely places where cursing is like not even just allowed, but it's like encouraged to just like, once again, be yourself. If that's how you talk, go for it. And then there's some other content I'm like, don't
Yeah.
think about it. Don't act like it. Don't mime it. Don't just don't.
Well, I just know we're at the age right now where if we're gonna say it, it's because it's justified.
Mm-hmm. For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it may be like a little. I mean, if like especially Joker, if we're getting into like a heated moment during a story or during like a debate point, yeah, they're gonna fly out like it's no one's business.
Expletives, because that's what they are.
Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, like if it just fits, it just has to be said because it flows in there and it adds more to the emphasis of the point. Like, yeah, fuck it, it's going in.
Yep. Puts an emphasis on the word.
Mm-hmm. But I was also like, the Rooster Teeth not just had an impact on the industry, but it actually had an impact on a lot of people.
Yes, there's a lot of people creating today because of Rooster Teeth.
And same with us. Like I mentioned on the drive home, it was, hey, without the Rooster Teeth podcast and seeing how much fun they were having when it was the Drunk Tank podcast, and then literally seeing how much fun they were having when they started doing video podcasts, it was like, I want to do that. And then 2013, boom, screw it, like we're doing it.
We're doing it. Do it live.
And then same with you, like you fed off of that energy too.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things I do every year, yes, you brought it to my attention, but like Rooster Teeth is one of the reasons I am doing Extra Life.
Yeah, I was going to get to that too.
Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. The fact that we were even just talking the other day.
Yeah.
Like, like Rooster Teeth's like the company that can't be beat when it comes to Extra Life Day. And now it's going to be
like, once again, they're not Wizards. They're not Blizzard. They're not some of these other companies that have lineage and fan bases that are just built in like generationally. Like Rooster Teeth at 22, I'm just going to say 22 because they're basically there. At 22 years of age, they would have just started hitting like having a good second generation. Like, so they were just getting into like the Blizzard, the WotC, the stuff like that kind of range of like legacy. And even then, they're like, nah, we're doing Extra Life a week later because if not, we will break it.
Yeah. Which we want to get everyone who's actually trying, the smaller people who are actually trying to raise money, a chance to raise.
Thank you.
Money. Yeah.
I know. I looked at my okay.
Yeah.
I'm so used to this. Yeah, because I'm in this position.
But it's somewhat, it's not even smug. It's literally just being like, we just know, and we're trying to make as much of an impact as.
We have found out that if we stream, a lot of money comes our way, which is great. But our hospital is spoiled.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it that way, but because every hospital, every dollar, especially for children's hospitals, every dollar, give it away. Don't care. But it's like, comparatively, it's spoiled.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we raised like
hundreds of thousands of dollars, and everyone else in the Austin area is contributing to that, but like we're making the majority of it.
Yeah. There's literally hospitals within 50 miles of us that maybe get $1,000.
That McLean, who
we've been doing for a while now.
Yeah,
it's sad that we are. I want to be confident. It's sad that we're top 3 at giving, and we don't even break 1,000 some years.
But I do appreciate it because I still take my kids there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my daughter has a specialty doctor for her migraines.
Okay.
And it's always at the McLean special medicine part, because there's like the main hospital and then there's like one that's for like the special medicine. Yeah. So it's just like the fact that we go there, it's like, hey, I'm actually able to see a little bit of the money we're raising kind of is going to. It's like it's motivating.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially since it is a smaller hospital, and even though like we're top 3 with the. I don't even remember how much you hit last time, like the highest you hit, which is what?
So not this last year, but the year before that, I actually got the gold thing, which is only like, I think I have to hit elite. So 1337, I believe, to get to the gold. This year I only got the silver, which is like $500.
Okay, I was like, I remember at one point you broke 1,000.
That was the gold, because I had to get elite 1337.
Yeah.
I think. So I broke 1,000. I think gold is 1,000, and then there's another thing if you got elite, but I still hit that, but it was like a small thing. But yeah, and the fact that was like the big year, and that was because I had actually done my job as a streamer, had networked, not just like between us and like a few people. Like no, like I had legitimately had been in other people's like Discords and Twitch servers, and Dan was like, "Yo, so I'm doing this thing." Like, oh my god, that's great, and we had like a raid in the morning, and then we had a raid in the evening. It was like 10, 20 people, but it was like 10, 20 people who were ready to give. Oh, and then one drunk dude at the end of the night was like, hey, how much has been raised? Double it. And I was like, you know what, drunk dude? Cool. I need you to know that you're drunk and you're giving me money. Are you sure this is what? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Let me talk to your friend. They're sure? They do this all the time? Okay, I don't feel bad. Because it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, and they called in. I was like, I don't want you to feel bad tomorrow morning for kids, man. That's what we do. That's what TK.
We do have a toast.
We do.
I
wanted to get it started before we got on a tangent. Rooster Teeth. Gone but not forgotten. Pretty good bourbon.
That's like deceptively smooth.
Yeah. With still bite.
Yeah, that was like right as I was getting ready to talk, it just like kicked up in the burn. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason it's on the bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Because the way I tell people, if it's on like the top area, cool. Just let me know you're doing it. Bottom shelf, don't even think about it. Which of course the one person I didn't tell that to, my partner, like started pulling stuff from the bottom shelf. Like, you are lucky. You would have been the one exception anyway.
Is she lightweight?
No, but I have some like flavored things down there.
No, I know. That was just kind of curious. Like, because usually your bottom stuff too is like not just like this will hit you when you least expect it, but also it's also like this is strong AF. Like,
well, some of it is, but also there are a few down there that are like
I need you to sign a waiver.
Some of them, but also some of them are like the original bottle style of Bacardi O orange before they changed the name.
Yeah,
like I have one of those still down there, like mostly full. So there's a few things down there that's it's not strong, but you're not going to find that anymore.
Yeah,
like you can't finish. Like even if you don't know, don't finish a bottle. Like if it's on that bottom shelf, I don't care if it's like 3 drops. If it can move, it counts. Don't finish the bottle. Don't open the bottle.
Like it was a Boulevard.
Boulevard? Yeah. That is still technically findable. Just
it's like a seasonal thing.
Well, it used to be a seasonal thing, and then it got popular, and then it was one of those things where it got too popular, so everybody had it, and then it didn't sell at all. Because it was one of those things in the liquor business where it was just the right amount, where they always sold out. So they went, oh, it's popular. Instead of like doubling it, they're like, oh, it's popular. Let's 10 times the amount. And of course, when you do that, even when people are like, oh my God, it's the thing I want, it'll sell well for like a month. And then it'll just kind of
loses its appeal.
It really does.
Because because like at first when you're like, it's limited, I got to get it when I see it.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, it's available all year round. Cool, I can just grab it whenever.
Yeah. Now I don't want to grab it as much.
Yeah, like
I still want one.
Yeah, it's like I kind of want it right now, but I don't want to spend the money on it right now. Maybe like next payday.
Nah, the bottle, if I ever find it again, is Firewater. If I can ever find it again. I don't know if it's the same maker or if they legitimately did it on purpose to parallel. But it's a bottle it's a cinnamon liqueur.
Mm-hmm.
That bottle that if you were to look at it sideways and not think about it, you would think it's rubber mints. And it's 100 proof. So like it was made. Now how everybody's doing like Rumble Mints and Fireball like is a mix. That was the original mix. It was Rumble Mints and Firewater. I don't know if they got sued because they weren't part of that company, but made it look way too similar, or if they just didn't get as popular. But if I ever find another bottle of Firewater, immediately
I would probably say the latter.
Probably
just because Fireball just fucking blew up.
No, that's the thing. They like disappeared before Fireball.
Oh, I know, but that's what I'm also saying. Like Fireball just blew up.
Yeah, and that might have been because Firewater was gone, and everybody's like, "Dude, this is a great
and
drink.
It's cheap. You can get a fifth for like what, $20?
It was great working at a liquor store when they quote unquote changed the designation, and it had to be pulled off the whiskey shelves and put in the liqueur aisle. It's like ha. Hey, where's the Fireball? Over here in the liqueurs where it belongs. What? You heard me.
I think I got into it around that first batch where it was still like
on the whiskey wall.
Yeah, because it was still like a 40%.
Yeah.
With cinnamon, and it wasn't that bad. But again, it was also dirt cheap still.
Yeah, they hadn't finished perfecting the formula,
and
then they're like, "Oh, it's just the cinnamon, so we can lower the alcohol content. We can legitimately take a batch, water it down to half of it, and have 2 batches now, as long as it has cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, fire water immediate.
But this kind of also leads into.
Sorry,
no, because
this is why we had the drink to make sure we.
Yeah, but also it was just like because like I wanted to talk with you because you could also share more light with this too. But it was like the more impact that Rooster Teeth has had,
Yeah,
especially being in Texas and not too far from them.
yeah.
It was like the fact that when they started to grow and they had started to get more on-air personalities, and then you started to follow them, and it's like I've lived in Texas, I've been to Austin, but these people are going to places that are I've never heard of in Austin, and they're making me like see different sides of Austin and making me fall like in love with Austin in a completely different way. Like I don't have to just go on 6th Street now. There's like Peter Pan Golf, which sadly I think is going away.
So many things.
Home Slice, Lucy in Disguise, which I mean,
I'm sad. Everything started going down after. I'm bad at names, so please forgive me, Austin. Leslie, the somewhat homeless crossdresser.
Yes.
Is that the name?
I believe so, yeah.
I am terrible at names, so please forgive me, anybody who knows better. But yeah, like after they passed, everything just kind of like keep Austin weird just became a phrase and not a.
I don't know. To me it was right when this deluge of outsiders. I'm not going to say Californians because most of them are Californians, but they're not all Californians.
No, but it's definitely. I want this to be closer to what I want, but won't pay for in other states.
It's essentially that because it was like out of nowhere they started building condos, high rises, and it's just like you're doing that. That's fine. I don't mind seeing Austin grow. I don't mind change. But then when it's like, oh, well, I want to live in the downtown area, cool. You get a condo right off of 6th Street or right off of 5th or 4th, but then you start complaining that, hey, the music venues around here are too loud at like 11:30 at night. They need to turn that shit down because I'm trying to sleep.
Like you chose to have a condo around the live music capital of the world in the area where all the live music is being played.
Exactly. And to the point where like Austin was like, these people are dumping in money. We're expanding. We kind of want them to stay because they're going to help us out, like in our economy, help us grow a lot more. So, we're just going to go ahead and start issuing noise ordinances to the bars. Like, it's not a complete ticket, more like a warning.
It's a, hey, just so you know, these are the new rules. Please follow them.
Like, we get you have tenure here. We get that everyone loves you guys. And usually on any other given day, there's never be an issue. But now there's new money, and new money doesn't like what you're doing. So we have to do something, but we're not going to do something that's going to hurt you too much either.
So you're still good. You're still good Friday, Saturday nights, because fuck them.
Just 10 o'clock, keep it, just turn it down. It's like, but that's the peak. No, literally, I think it was one bar they said at 10 o'clock they had to lower the volume.
Was it like, even, I thought it was legitimately like weekdays, and then like weekends, they're like, fuck it.
It was that, but then as I got more people in there, more people on the weekends were just like being homebodies, and it was like, now it's like, there's a time where like certain bars are around certain condos and high rises.
Probably the ones closer to the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, which
of course starts killing the edges because they don't want to go there anymore.
But it kills downtown.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Not just the edges, but like everywhere. Well, minus Stubbs.
It's like a full economy.
Like away.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, you start chipping away at like a culture, it starts breaking.
Yeah.
Just how it is.
You can't say you love the culture, love the town for what it is, move here, and then start complaining about what it is.
So.
But it's like that's still what, going back to the previous topic, like just learning more about the city was just always fun.
Yes. And they were ambassadors for that. They were ambassadors not just because like they went out and showed things, but just who they were as people. And you went, oh, even the people who like move from different states, they go, they fit, they mesh, they work. it's not that you're coming from somewhere else. It's like it's who you are. That's fine.
Yeah, and that was also another thing too. I pointed out on my drive home recording was, I mean, this is of course people that live out in LA, people that live out in New York, like you're gonna have run-ins with certain big name celebrities, low end celebrities.
Yeah.
Just that's all, like not an uncommon thing, but it's like we're here in Texas, in Austin, where there's like 2 or 3 big studios. But just to sit there,
I was about to actually be like, who the fuck is still here?
Because
I know
Troublemaker, Rooster Teeth, and I think another one that had popped up like randomly within the past
Blizzard
few years.
Blizzard has an office down there, like a pretty decent office down there.
I probably wouldn't count Blizzard as a studio. It's mainly like video production, game design. Yeah, Blizzard and
well, they had a big voiceover thing down there too.
Yeah, like it was right off
because they were trying to steal from the Dallas voiceover culture.
Yeah, it was right off of Palmer's where they had like all their headquarters. Because you would drive by it whenever I was favoring down there.
Yeah, and I don't know if he moved down here or if he just worked down here a lot. I don't think he brought his whole studio, but Rocket Jump for a while was also down there.
I think he just worked down here.
Well, I know that Freddie was because I know Brandon stayed in LA because he's always in the Corridor Digital things.
Yeah, but it's just the fact of like you knew who they were. If you lived like close enough, you could go down to Austin and just randomly, without even like trying to look for them, you could randomly just.
Even though when he got the animated car, you could find Bernie.
Well, not just Bernie, but anybody.
Like, yeah, if you were looking for them, you could find them really quickly.
But even if you weren't looking for them, you could just
bump into them.
Yeah,
I have multiple stories of people bumping into like Barb or Gav or just legit bumping into them. Someone you've met the Jordan Michael Brinkman, yes?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I know, but you have to say his name with that.
Oh, I know.
Gravitas. Like he was a stand-in for Gavin in the movie.
Laser Team.
Like he was a stand-in for Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
Laser Team. Like I know there was a few, like not a stunt, but like a
actually just body double stand-in.
Body double stand-in for Gavin.
Yeah, so like if there was a back shot of Gavin where you couldn't see his face, like that was probably Jordan.
Yeah. Like I need to buy that movie just so I can like.
I know there's a website that had it's a horror movie website. They had a horror movie sale and they had Rooster Teeth's horror movie on there for $10 and it sold out right away. And
of course.
I'm like, I don't care how little money I have right now and I'm about to get paid. I would have bought that for $10 because they didn't. I think they did the same thing as Laser Team. They did a Kickstarter, and then you could only get a physical copy if you backed the certain tiers on Kickstarter. And they never released any other physical copies after that.
Yeah.
They only had it like as a digital copy. You could rent it or you could own it. But so it's like the fact that there was still
copies.
A company even that was just like, hey, we got copies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does anyone want them? And we're going to just put them on sale. It was like,
mine, giving. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I gotta get that. Mainly because it has my celebrity crush in it. Cecile Gabriel.
Oh, okay. Apparently, there's a DVD format on Amazon. There's one left for $20.
Exactly.
Some used ones for $11.40 though.
I'm looking for Blu-rays.
Oh,
you gotta have Blu-rays.
Oh, of course. But yeah,
but it was like, I mean, because that was I mentioned too, like when that, I mean, outside of RTX, like, you know, had a few run-ins with Gus,
$50 eBay,
Chris Damaris, Barb, Jeremy, one of the newer Achievement Hunter members.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw him a few times at the Alamo Draft House in Cedar Park. So it's like I wasn't even expecting or like looking. I just went there for I forgot what movie, and sure enough, there he was, like a few chairs down from me. I was just like, oh, it's him.
And there they are.
Yeah, and it was like that was also the craziest thing too about the community that Rooster Teeth has. It was like if you lived in Texas and you ran into them, like everyone respected their space if they were doing something. But also, it was like if you did go up to them and just ask for a picture or
people weren't assholes about it.
They were very humble and respectful. I mean, just
from both sides.
Yeah, it was like
usually
you weren't getting just a fan experience for meeting them. You were getting like just a genuine human experience for meeting them. It's like they were humble about it. They were super down to earth and just amazing to be around.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, what are they all gonna do?
Well, from what I've seen, a lot of the people that I had followed back because I hadn't really logged in and watched them like the last few years, to be honest. I'd really catch things, especially a lot of the talking head stuff. Um, and I would, and I've started seeing them like branch out to other things, usually in like guest roles. Uh, like Jeremy was doing his own streaming things and hooking up like with linking, not hooking up, that's a whole different phrase.
Yeah.
Linking up with other like streamers, so he has a decent thing. Ray left forever ago, so he has his own like little mini.
He took his following
Early before things could start. Yeah. Well, one of my favorite clips is from like a year ago. And it's like, "What do you think about this thing?" It's like, "Dude, I've been gone for years. I don't care.
It
I don't care."
was crazy to see him actually comment on it too.
I did not see that one.
Yeah.
He was just like surprised, or
like he just said how thankful he was
for the time. Yeah.
For the 3 years that he was there, because it was like the funnest 3 years he ever had a job, and of course without having that job and then becoming such a personality that people liked and gravitated to, then he wouldn't have easily transitioned to streaming and then making streaming as his job.
I still watch like God Gamer Ray highlights from Let's Plays when they would do the challenge, like the weekly challenges.
Yeah,
I still watch the highlights from that, just him wrecking every game. Just well, like that. But then I see people like doing some things on Dropout and doing some things over here. Like
my main concern was also just the people that had the bigger roles.
Like corporate roles or still on camera?
Both, because most of them were on camera, but they still like Barb. I said on my drive home last I checked, she was like the social media manager. She was also one of the bigger event coordinators for RTX.
Yeah, every time I like, it's one of those. It hurts because I'm like RTX. Oh, damn.
I know, it was like we were kind of spoiled.
Yeah,
just being an hour away.
Yeah.
To where it was like we don't
have to hotel it.
We don't have to flight. We don't have to hotel it. We could just pay for the RTX ticket
and just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, like if we didn't want an RTX ticket, cool. We could just
be around.
Go down to downtown Austin on the weekend. Probably run into
them. Run into them. Run into fans. Just atmosphere.
Yeah.
Kind of like going to South by without a band or anything. Like you'll find something.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's doing something tangentially related.
Yeah. And I was like, also we could just stop by like the old studio at any point when they were still down there. Like I did one time. Well, I did it for a project. And sadly the project had just fell through.
Yeah.
But I got to meet Barb for the first time there. She actually answered the door, heard my little spiel for my project when I was going to film school. Gave me her email, and said that she would forward it to, forgot who she said.
Like, somebody.
Yeah, Matt or Bernie, one of them. And I think it was Matt. And I was just like, yeah, we're supposed to do like find a company, a production company. A lot of the people in my class are doing like studios out in LA, a few in New York, a few like live theater in Chicago. I was like, I'm kind of the only one that was like, there's you guys and Troublemaker. It's easier to come to you guys, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like, yeah, we just don't got the time for like a quick sit down interview. Like, if you just want questions, like we can answer some questions, like just through the email. And like, yeah, it's a video interview though. Like, I have to get the equipment and just
it's kind of proving that I know how to do other things.
Yeah, like I have to set it up. That's all part of the project criteria as well. So again, like it just got shot down just because timing.
Well, you could probably get them questions answered now.
Yeah, like what, 12 years later?
Yeah. It's okay. He said I could turn it in anytime. my degree has an asterisk.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, man. I guess it was always just different just being in Texas and just seeing them do like the RT Life stuff.
It's yes to that, but also like it's always weird because we live in a very crossover area where people from everywhere come.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of people who don't understand when I'm like, yeah, we're like the third coast. What are you talking about? No, you don't understand. We have, because of the Gulf, it's like, yeah, coast. You have the East Coast, West Coast. And it used to be a rap thing. It was like third coast,
Yeah.
rep your set kind of thing. But now it's like, no, legitimately, because of the infrastructure of Texas, we can have everything that LA has and everything that New York has, but in our own way. And
Unless someone messes it up. But we're not getting there.
nope, we're not getting into that part. That almost, not really, because he would never leave because he loves Texas too much, but almost losing Troublemaker. We're not getting to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have killed me. I like both, but Trouble, like, Robert's my dude.
Yeah. But back to your point, it's, I mean, just the fact of being like, it's RT Life.
Yeah.
Where it was them showing their lives outside of the studio.
The
off hours.
Off hours. A really good way of putting it, and I know it's like a content machine now, or was. It's weird when people close. But a way of that was, especially from like the podcast, because even if you didn't run into them, it was a way for people who weren't as lucky as us, who were close by, watching the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the animated segments, because you can just get some of those bits and pieces. Not like, yeah, it was still from a sit down interview, but a little bit of context, just even if it was like almost South Parkian in the way it was moved.
Yeah. But also, that's what also, I guess, led to the appeal too for like RTX, people who are coming from out of state. Just the fact that it'd be like, they could see Austin and be like, we can go explore and see all the areas like we've seen or heard stories about through RTAA,
Yeah,
RT Life, just the podcast as well. Like we heard them say home slice. Well, now we actually know where home slice is. We actually had a slice at home slice.
Yeah.
And
cats.
Yeah.
Talking like just.
See, that's what
that just made me sad.
I know.
That just made me sad for real. Oh, why'd I do that to myself?
But it's just like, again, just that there was something so very unique with Rooster Teeth, and not just because we're an hour away from them, but just overall, like the way that they approach content and the way that they, again, in their heyday, they literally could just put a video, and back when YouTube was like, oh yeah, like this high-end channel just put a video out, we're just going to go ahead and just say they've already got 37,000 views in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like, no, they earned that shit.
Well, no, I mean, but it's like, that was just a common thing, like back in the day of YouTube.
Are you one of our top 7 creators?
Cool. We'll just
you have 30.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you did, the video was uploaded a minute ago? Cool, 37,000. Once you hit it, we'll up it. Just what comes, like, I think it was like 52,000. And after that, they started actually tracking the numbers as like it went on for like later in the day.
Yeah.
But they were just like, yeah, no, we're just gonna give you a number because we know you're gonna hit it.
We know you're gonna hit it. So instead of trying to keep track of the fast moving number, we're just gonna put that, and then when you get to a thing that we think is gonna start slowing down a little bit, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's better for our servers. Yeah, like,
So,
I was watching. So Ludwig has a second channel called Mogul Mail where he usually talks about issues or things, and he was talking about this today, and he was saying how Rooster Teeth, for a lot of creators, not just as an inspiration, but as like a study of the industry, and like some do's and don'ts, like how, and I'm going to talk about this just a little bit just because another media source that was like Rooster Teeth that technically had their own site before and then kind of moved a lot to YouTube was like Smosh.
mm-hmm.
And like if you look at them parallel, you can kind of see the differences between a studio and media company that's based off of like one kind of creation source for too long. And to the point where when they try to branch out, there's a lot of hesitance. And Smosh like eventually broke through that by having legitimately good people just keep going until almost until it forced a new generation. Like, okay, if you're still watching, cool, but it's not for you anymore. It's for the new people. And they kept going. While Rooster Teeth started, yeah, it was like a main group of people, but it wasn't them.
Mm-hmm.
It was their content in a different way than Smosh, because Smosh was Ian and Anthony doing this. While Rooster Teeth was, yeah, it was like these 4 or 5 guys, but it's not them. It's red versus blue. It's this. They got these guys and doing a let's play, but it's not even them. Like one of them is, but it's not even them. You know, and now we have these 5 idiots, and then we have like these skits, and then we have the podcast, and then this person pulled out, but it doesn't feel different because we're used to it being a group. And yeah, we have our favorites, and there are definitely some people who didn't mesh well that probably should not have stayed as long as they should, but that just happens. That happens in almost any job, to be honest. But it was a good like character study of just like what to do, and a lot of people were like bringing up machinima and a few other things, like as comparisons, and they were like, yeah, if it wasn't for like COVID and all that other stuff, they might have survived longer, or they might have been able to turn things around. But I don't know if it was Lubbock or someone else, but they're like, no, if anything, COVID proved why it was like, not proved, but like showcased why it was going down. Because during COVID, video formats blew up. Like YouTubers blew up overnight. Twitch streamers especially blew up overnight because everybody was home.
Mm-hmm.
All they could do was watch content. So for a media source that was making content, that should have been a high point, yet they were still showing losses. And this I know came from Logan. It was like he had the feeling it was like, yeah, they still had the same personalities, but after a while, even if you're doing the content because someone's watching, there's always like a hint of, but there's a bottom dollar we also have to meet, because it's not just us anymore. It's the guy above us who's making sure we make money for him, kind of thing. So it's just this weird, not even weird. It's just this thing that you can see and track, and it's just, I don't know. It's like a learning experience, and it's nostalgia and hurt and a lot of things all at the same time.
But see, so I remember last year, I think it was around November, October, they put out saying that they weren't going to have an RTX this year. Mm-hmm. And then it went into even more depth as to why. I mean, it wasn't just like a restructuring, but they even also said, like, out of all the RTXs we've had, none of them have turned a profit. Like, we always lose more money on RTX than people think that we make.
Which is very crazy.
Which, I mean, it was like, on my drive home, I was like, just think, I mean, yeah, it's crazy to hear, because you're like, especially if you've been to one, or just seeing like the content of it.
There was like 4 years in a row where they had 60K plus attendees.
Exactly. But then it's just like, thinking about it logistically, sitting back and being like, okay, so what are they paying for? They got to rent, they got to pay whatever it is for the
event space,
the Austin Convention Center.
Yeah.
This is for like
which updated in between RTXs.
Well, I was like, before they even completely blew up.
Like, yeah.
When they went from having the first one, which was
603 attendees.
Yeah, the first one, which was down in the Congress office.
Yeah.
And then the second year, that's when they were like, we'll go ahead and do it in the convention center. So they had to pay the space for the weekend for the convention center. They also had to pay for the concessions, the people that were running the concessions. And then it's like, okay, well, everyone had to they had to also pair up with Hilton, I believe it was, or Holiday Inn, one of the hotels close by the studio or the convention center. Be like, yeah, so we want to go ahead and just set aside some rooms. I'm pretty sure they put a deposit down
to make sure that people could have rooms.
Yeah, to hold those rooms for RTX attendees. And then it's like, okay, yeah, maybe the first or second year they probably may have gotten close to breaking even. But it's like once they branched out to the point where they knew they got big, I think it was like their third or fourth year. One year I know where me, Megan, I think maybe you went, where it was just like no one was really getting it through the autograph lines.
Yeah,
no one was really getting through
that
anything.
was a rough one. I don't think they were expecting that numbers.
Yeah, and so it was just like they decided the following year to spread out to 2 different
spaces.
So then it's like you're paying the rental on both of those.
I think the year before we all went down there, they had like 10K, and then the year we went, which was the year after, was like 30. So they tripled what was already a not packed, but a busy space.
Yeah, because it was like they had before they had like the allotted times and the tickets for the autographs. It was just, hey, these people are going to be here at the autograph table, the autograph area for this 2-hour block, and everyone lined up. And if you were like, I want to get an autograph from Barb and Aaron, who do Blake and Ruby, the voice, or not Blake and Yang, and you're like, cool, I'm going to get in line. But then everyone was in line for the people previously who are now kind of closer to the front, they're not just suddenly going to leave. They're going to be like, no, we're at least getting one goddamn autograph. We're waiting in line for 3 hours. Yep. But now you're also in your own 3-hour queue, and now you're not going to get the autograph you wanted.
You might get the next person if you stay.
Yeah.
Dedicated.
Like, they had those troubles. But like I said, they started renting out. They had the rentals for 2 areas, and then I think 3 hotels. And then they had 3 different areas for RTX. So that's the rental of 3 different areas. All those fees, all the people that are helped running everything in there, and then more hotels, and then areas for like bars for the after party, or like the mixers, the social mixers. Yeah, it's like I get why they're not turning, and then like you're trying to keep tickets affordable, especially for the number of the people that are coming, which they always hit the numbers. But then you also have like people who are spending so much money on the flight in, people who are spending so much money on the hotel, people who are spending money on just the food, obviously the drinking for the mixers and the after hours of the convention. And then on top of that, they don't want to buy anything because they don't have the money to spend on a bunch of merch to help add towards the bottom line. And thinking about all of that, it makes sense why they wouldn't break even. And they never put in how much loss they were experiencing year after year after year after year to see if the losses just kept growing and growing and growing, or if they stayed steady, or if they kind of, were getting close to breaking even, and then one year they kind of slumped down. They just said they never broke even. And that definitely attributes to it. But it's still like, it was a great idea on paper. It was a great experience overall to just actually be a part of. But it just seemed like, I guess they swung too high for the fences, and just couldn't really deliver fully on their end for the experiences of everybody. You're lucky I went on the whole.
That's why I felt it was. I had been holding back like a cough rampage for like 5 minutes, and I was like, "Oh, I can tell this is going to go on for a minute." Let me just go real quick. I apologize.
No, you're good.
But it was one of those like, I knew where you were going. It was like, give me a second, and I just died.
But real quick, we got a little bit of time left on this recording. What were your favorite shows, and then what were your favorite moments?
Like within the shows?
No, just because everyone's going to have favorite moments outside of the shows they like, because the amount of content they put out is just always there's a lot to choose from. But I'm pretty sure, like, in the heyday, the full swing of everything, you subscribed to one channel and you looked forward to at least one certain show.
So, not the show in particular, but the Minecraft Let's Plays, they had like the King series. Like you had to do the challenges, the next person was King. When Gavin won King, and it was 2 episodes because it legitimately went down to everybody had 4 blocks
Yeah.
or 3 blocks, and they just needed the 4th one. That was great. Like I go back to that a lot. But like obviously the podcast was a big one. Let's Play would tangentially come in. There was a skit that's based on the 10 Little Indians, which is
I just rewatched that the other day.
Yeah, which the skit or the movie?
No, the actual. Well, it was like one part of the episode, which was I was like, I just want to hear Gus say the line.
Yeah.
The response to Chris's Tolkien quote, where he was like, "Not all who wander are lost. Not all who work here are fucking nerds."
It's such a good one. But like I go back to that series because it was like released in like bit by bit as well, if I remember correctly, in a 10-part.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
I think it was in a 10-part series because it was like and then yeah. It was fun because it was one of those. I watched that and was making guesses, and I got a few of them right. And the reason I came back to it and go, oh, I think I was cheating because I had seen the original movie,
and
I was like, oh, I hadn't forgot I had seen the like until somebody else had. I was showing that video to someone like, oh yeah, it's based on the original movie. Like, really? And I watched it like, oh, I've seen this. Oh, there's some parallels. No wonder I could call like 4 of these back to back. Huh.
Yeah, 10 Little Roosters.
Like 10 Little Roosters.
It was.
It's a good one. But the show that got me was the Barbara's podcast. After Hours one?
Oh, Always Open?
Always Open, the one that's based in the diner. That one I was watching like religiously for a while. And I didn't subscribe for it, but the kind of game show that John
Reisinger, like the improv almost kind of game show.
That one, when I found it, I also marathoned the crap out of that one too. Yeah, Always Open was probably the one I started going to a lot.
Awu. Always loved watching Awu.
Oh, there's so many shows I forget.
Yeah, I know. But it was just like I subscribed to Achievement Hunter mainly because they were doing Awu. And then obviously the achievement guides. But then once they started doing Let's Plays, definitely the Minecraft ones, the challenges, and then the GTA heist.
I remember. I don't know if this was every single time, or if it was just a one-off. But like the one time they had the intro, and it's like, this is what we're gonna do. But they were doing it in the office.
Yeah,
like it's just them writing on the board, and then you go in and they're talking about a GTA heist, and it's like a fucking bank for like $10K, and they're spending millions of dollars in equipment for this like $10K heist. Like, oh, you're right. You were right when you said earlier there's too much content. So yeah, like my answers still stand, but
yeah, because it was like I loved everything, but it was just my moments.
Google or Gavin.
Yeah, also. I was gonna say that like my moments were also just almost anything with RTAA. Because that
they chose a lot of the good moments.
Yeah, they chose a lot of the good moments during the week, during a lot of the content to just showcase. And it was just like, if I ever wanted to just relive that moment and I don't want to hunt down a Let's Play and scrub through like an hour
there was
or like
a high
30
chance
minutes.
There was an RTAA about it.
Yeah, like the whole freeing Edgar.
Yeah.
RTAA. Yeah. The Blue Eyes story.
There's so much content. So much content.
And then of course Ruby when that started kicking off, it was like that was also one of the shows where it was just like
I was over at your house every week.
Yeah, and I was like I bought a first membership to watch
early.
I bought the first membership first to watch the podcast because they would live stream the podcast if you were a first member. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about getting rid of it, and then
Ruby.
RTX, they were like, yeah, so we're debuting Ruby. So we saw the first episode of Ruby.
After those amazing trailers.
Yeah, at RTX. And then they were like, yeah, so if you're a first member, you'll see the episode 24 hours before everyone else. I was like, screw it, I'm keeping first. Because I think it was only like $10 at the time a month.
What's it now?
What
was it?
Probably around like $20 or $30.
Oh.
Yeah, they raised the price on it a lot.
And they, no, why are they good? Sorry.
But from what some people have talked about, and on my recording on the drive home,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm only going to speak about facts, about what came out and what everyone knows to be 100% factual.
Okay.
I'm not really going to discuss or talk about things that were just floating around.
We're not going to talk about potentials. We're going to sit about, okay.
Yeah, but it was like there's a lot of rumors going around about just like they were never turning a profit, which is why AT&T sold them, which is why Max sold them.
Apparently, first was only $5.99 in the last bit. $32.99 for 6 months, or $59.99 for annually.
And then, like just the fact that they were kind of hemorrhaging money, they cut down a lot of the workforce and started contracting people out to try and save money on that.
And the writing on the wall was basically after the same thing happened to Machinima a few years ago, or not even feel like 5-6 years ago now. Because that was what, 2018, 2019,
roughly.
Yeah,
it was just there's a lot of reasons, and it's not 100% proven that fed into it. There's good evidence that shows that could have led to it.
No, okay, I'm not saying like it was a domino effect. I'm saying that happening to Machinima showed that the space was.
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying that I'm just saying what everyone right now in the community is alleging.
Fair.
To.
Fair. No, I was just saying that
because like you said, the writing was on the wall with this, and there's other people who are like, yeah, it was clear that this was going to happen back in like 2014 when this happened. It's like,
okay,
that's kind of alleged though.
That is alleged.
You could find evidence again that points to that was a contributing factor, but it's not a factual.
That domino is so small.
Yeah, it's just it's not. No one's come out and actually said this is what actually.
I was just saying that like there are other studios that it happened to first, so it was like, oh, this is a potential like possibility. And yeah, the only thing that points it to me personally is the fact that I stopped watching because I no longer enjoy the content as much.
And that's the main thing that they kind of pointed at was like a lot of the older fan base. Just obviously, you're going to have turnover.
Mm-hmm.
The old guard's going to get phased out with anything.
That whole generational thing, yeah.
Well, yeah, not just the generation thing, but even the personalities we all liked that were there from the beginning. Like, yeah, they're going to go on to bigger and better things. They're going to have other interests they kind of want to pursue.
Yeah.
And so you got to replace them, and then also as you're replacing them with younger people or newer people, they're going to start shifting their focus more towards whatever demographic or whatever. And so, yeah, eventually, you're going to get phased out as an audience member too because the content they're making is not for you. But if that's the majority of the people that,
if that's the majority of the people
that stuck around and made you what you were,
and more importantly to the corporate overlords, made the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a line.
Yeah. But still, it's still sad just overall with what the company was in terms of and what it stood for in the industry, the impact it had.
The impact it's going to have.
Still a lasting impact.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where there are parts of that company and parts of those that bits of content that will live on in the internet forever, whether people understand it or not. Kind of like how John Carpenter is like memed in movies, and some people don't know it, but
yeah,
those who know.
It was the first company that was founded and got big off of
their media content.
If you want to do it, you can do it, and it can work. And that was it. That was their main thing. We just wanted to do this. It worked. We kept doing it. It kept working.
Yep.
Like anything is possible with these other alternate means and channels.
All right.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of want to like go down. I mean, everyone's already doing it now. Like that's in the area, going down to Studio 5 and just paying their respects. I kind of want to do that, but no, I'm happy with what we're doing now.
Yeah, it's our way.
Yeah. But we will miss you, Rooster Teeth. We'll still be making references.
I'll still be watching content.
That too.
Still my content. Bye, y'all.
Later.